My name is Tanya Mayo Saldana, and I am going to be doing cross-extension reflex. Cross-extension reflex involves a contralateral reflex arc because the motor response occurs on the side opposite of the stimulus. The cross-extensor reflex works with the flexor muscle reflex, and the two occur simultaneously. It is also known as a polysynaptic reflex because it has more than two synapses in the spinal cord. The reflex contraction of flexor muscles on the side of the body is always accompanied by contraction of the extensor muscle. This is going to be an example of cross-extension reflex. This is Craig Reflexor. He is walking around barefoot, and there is a tack on the floor. Most likely, Craig is going to step on the tack. When Craig steps on the tack, the foot that he stepped on the tack with will be flexed, while the opposite foot is being extended. Without the opposite foot being extended, Craig would most likely fall. This is cross-extensor reflex. They are working as antagonists to stabilize his position and produce a controlled response. The pain receptor from stepping on the tack will travel up his leg into the spinal cord, crossing the motor neuron synapse, and will go back up to the motor neuron axon, back down to the muscle. The leg that was being flexed, also known as the ipsilateral leg, was the one that stepped on the tack. The foot that is being extended is also known as a contralateral. Now in the picture, the green arrow is going to represent the extensor inhibited, the yellow arrow is the flexor stimulated, the blue arrow is the extensor stimulated, and the red arrow will be the flexors inhibited. These are all going to be traveling up to the spinal cord. In this next slide, we are going to be looking at the spinal cord closer up. The orange arrow is the pain receptor from the muscle to the spine, the blue arrow is the inhibitory interneuron, and the black arrow is the interneuron that is the excitatory. Together they are going to produce positive feedback that innervates with the motor neuron. The red and blue arrows leaving the spinal cord are headed towards the extensor and flexors. There is the pseudo-unipolar neuron. This is a kind of sensory neuron in the peripheral nervous system, also known as PNS. It contains an axon that has split into two branches. One runs to the periphery and the other to the spinal cord. This helps the stimulus travel around. The green arrows representing the motor neurons that are going to be going to other segments of the spinal cord. This is why we don't feel pain until after we step on the tack, because of all the messages that have to travel up to our brain and tell us that we just stepped on a tack. Like poor Greg Reflexor.